Welcome to the Squared Circle, folks. Today, we're diving into the brutal, beautiful world of boxing with our definitive list of the top 10 greatest boxers of all time. This ain't just about who threw the hardest punch or had the prettiest footwork. This is about legacy. It's about the impact these warriors had on the sport, their skill inside the ring, and their influence outside of it. We're talking about the guys who transcended boxing, who became cultural icons, legends whispered in hushed tones by fight fans around the world. These are the guys who, when they stepped in the ring, man, you just knew you were watching something special. So buckle up, because we're about to go toe-to-toe with some of the biggest names in boxing history. Let's dive in.
You can't talk about boxing without talking about Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, man. The guy was poetry in motion. Ali had this uncanny ability to read his opponents, to know what they were going to do before they did it. And the chin on this guy? Forget about it. He could take a punch like nobody's business. But Ali was more than just a fighter. He was a voice for the voiceless, a champion of civil rights. Love him or hate him, you can't deny the impact he had, not just on boxing, but on the world. He transcended the sport, became a global icon, a symbol of hope and resistance. He was, and always will be, the greatest.
Pound for pound, Sugar Ray Robinson might be the most talented boxer to ever lace up a pair of gloves. A master technician, a true artist in the ring. Impeccable footwork, lightning-fast combinations, and an impenetrable defense. He could fight going forward or backward, it didn't matter. He was just that good. Effortless grace, like he was dancing, not fighting. But don't let the nickname fool you. Sugar Ray could crack. Knockout power in both hands. He fought the best, like Jake LaMotta and Carmen Basilio, a five-time world welterweight champion holding titles in multiple weight classes. A true legend of the sport. Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't just a boxer, he was the sweet science personified.
Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, was a symbol of hope during some of America's darkest times. This dude was a knockout artist of the highest order, a heavyweight wrecking machine with a punch that could knock down a building. He held the heavyweight title for almost 12 years, a record that stood for decades, and defended it a staggering 25 times. Think about that for a second, 25 title defenses. But it wasn't just his power that made him great. Joe Louis had this aura about him, this quiet confidence that was both intimidating and inspiring. He was a national hero, especially for the African American community, a symbol of strength and resilience during the Jim Crow era. His fights weren't just sporting events, they were cultural moments that transcended boxing. When Joe Louis stepped into the ring, the whole world stopped to watch. He was more than just a boxer. He was a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a time of darkness. He was and always will be the Brown Bomber.
Rocky Marciano, the Brockton blockbuster, is the only heavyweight champion to retire undefeated, with a perfect record of 49-0. Let that sink in for a minute. 49 fights, 49 wins, no losses, no draws. The dude was a force of nature, a relentless pressure fighter with an iron chin and an even stronger will to win. He wasn't the biggest guy in the heavyweight division, but he made up for it with sheer determination and an engine that just wouldn't quit. He'd walk his opponents down, cut off the ring, and unleash a furious barrage of punches that were impossible to stop. His knockout percentage is still one of the highest in boxing history, a testament to his raw power and relentless style. But it was his heart, his never-say-die attitude, that truly set him apart. Rocky Marciano was the embodiment of the American dream, a tough kid from a working-class background who fought his way to the top of the world. He was and always will be a true legend of the sport.
Sugar Ray Leonard was more than just a boxer. He was a showman, a charismatic personality who captivated audiences with his dazzling speed, his boxing IQ, and his infectious smile. He was a master strategist in the ring, able to adapt his style to any opponent, and he had the power to end a fight with a single punch. But it was his speed, his lightning-fast reflexes, and his ability to move like a phantom that truly set him apart. He'd dance around his opponents, hit them from impossible angles, and then disappear before they even knew what hit them. He was a 5-division world champion, battling legends like Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, and Marvin Hagler in some of the most exciting fights in boxing history. He was a true icon of the sport, a fighter who transcended boxing and became a global superstar. Sugar Ray Leonard was more than just a boxer. He was a true king of the ring. Roberto Duran, Manos de Piedra, Hands of Stone, was a force of nature, a pure brawler with an unbreakable spirit and a heart as big as his native Panama. This dude was fear personified in the ring. He'd walk you down, back you into the ropes, and just unleash a furious barrage of punches that would make your ancestors cry. He fought with this raw aggression, this primal intensity that was impossible to replicate. He'd get inside your head, man, make you doubt yourself, make you question whether you even wanted to be in the ring with him, and then he'd knock you out. He was a 4-weight world champion, battling legends like Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and Marvin Hagler in some of the most brutal wars in boxing history. His first fight with Leonard, the brawl in Montreal, is legendary, a testament to Duran's relentless pressure and unwavering will. Roberto Duran wasn't just a boxer, he was a warrior, a true embodiment of the fighting spirit. Mike Tyson, Iron Mike, was the most feared man on the planet during his prime. This dude was a knockout machine, a heavyweight wrecking ball with terrifying power and an aura that could intimidate even the bravest of fighters. He'd explode out of his corner, bobbing and weaving, his eyes locked on his target like a predator stalking its prey. And when he landed, man, it was lights out. His knockout power was legendary, his punches so fast and powerful they seemed to defy physics. He became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at the age of 20, and for a time, he was unbeatable, a force of nature that ran roughshod over the heavyweight division. His personal demons are well documented, but there's no denying the impact he had on boxing. He brought an excitement and an intensity to the sport that hadn't been seen in years. Mike Tyson wasn't just a boxer. He was a phenomenon, a global icon who transcended the sport and became a legend. Jack Johnson, the Galveston Giant, was more than just a boxer. He was a pioneer, a symbol of defiance in a time of rampant racism and segregation. He became the first African-American heavyweight champion in 1908, shattering racial barriers and sparking controversy in a deeply divided America. He was a master defensive fighter, with a style that was both elegant and effective. He'd use his size and reach to control the distance, slipping punches with ease and countering with lightning-fast combinations. But it was his refusal to be defined by the racist attitudes of his time that truly set him apart. He lived his life on his own terms, challenging societal norms and paving the way for future generations of African-American athletes. Jack Johnson wasn't just a boxer. He was a revolutionary, a true icon who changed the face of sports forever.
Julio Cesar Chavez, El Gran Campeón Mexicano, was a national hero, a relentless pressure fighter with an iron chin and an unbreakable spirit. This dude was a machine, man. He'd come forward, round after round, throwing punches in bunches, wearing his opponents down with relentless body shots and a pace they simply couldn't handle. He had this aura about him, this quiet intensity that was both intimidating and inspiring. He was a 6-time world champion in 3 weight classes, and his fights were legendary for their brutality and excitement. He'd stand toe-to-toe with his opponents, trading punches until one of them dropped. He was a true warrior, a fighter who never backed down from a challenge, and his legacy as one of the greatest Mexican boxers of all time is secure.
Floyd Mayweather Jr., Money Mayweather, is the master of defensive boxing, a technical wizard who dominated the sport for over 2 decades. Love him or hate him, you can't deny his skills in the ring. The dude was untouchable. His defense was like an impenetrable wall. His reflexes were lightning fast, and his counterpunching was a thing of beauty. He was a master strategist, able to dissect his opponents and exploit their weaknesses with surgical precision. He retired undefeated, with a perfect 50-0 record, surpassing even the legendary Rocky Marciano. He was also a master showman, a polarizing figure who knew how to promote himself and build anticipation for his fights. Floyd Mayweather Jr. wasn't just a boxer, he was a brand, a global superstar who transcended the sport and became one of the richest athletes of all time. And there you have it, our list of the top 10 greatest boxers of all time. These are the guys who, with every punch, every drop of sweat, every roar of the crowd, etched their names in the history books of boxing. They were more than just athletes. They were artists, warriors, icons who transcended the sport and became legends. But this is just our list, folks. Boxing's full of what-ifs and heated debates, and that's part of what makes it so great. So, who do you think deserves to be on this list? Who did we miss? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.